Jill Halfpenny, welcome to Back to Byker.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you. It's nice to see you.
You too. You, of course, played Nicola Dobson for 4 series of Byker Grove between 1989 and 1992. Not that long ago. Does it feel like yesterday or like a lifetime ago?
I don't, maybe sometimes a lifetime ago, and maybe other days, like, I still feel like that 13-year-old girl. It really changes from moment to moment. In fact, I watched the very first episode in preparation for this, and it was quite bizarre. I was watching it with my son, and I was thinking, wow, that was me. And even my son was like, you look different. And I was like, I was 30. Of course I look different.
Yeah. Let's go back to 1989 then. Before the show had even hit the screens.
Yeah.
You were part of the original cast. Do you remember your first audition and how you got the part?
Yeah. So first of all, I literally used to say to my mom, I've said this so many times, but it bears repeating. I used to say to my mom all the time, if only there was a Jodie Grange-Hill, like that would be my like dream job. If they could just make a Jodie Grange-Hill. And you will know, Andrew, even though you're younger than me, there was kind of nothing going on in the Northeast. If you wanted to be an actor, you were at your local theatre, you were doing whatever you could, you were making friends with all sorts of people, you were in all the youth clubs and in the youth drama. But really, in terms of career, there was nothing going on. It was all very much hobby-based, I would say. And then this news drops. Oh, they're making a TV show in Newcastle. And everyone was like, what? Are you joking me? So I remember I got sent the script. I got sent the scene for Spuggy. And it was the one in the very first episode where she's talking to my nana. And she's crying and Lou's like, what's up with you? And, and she's just like, she's really sad. And she's, I remember like Lou saying something like, oh, you're about as much use as a chocolate teapot or something like that. And then I remember my friend as well, one of my best friends, she also was auditioning for Spuggy. So we were learning the lines together.
Okay.
And went along to the Pink Palace, the BBC, in Newcastle, and walked in, read it once. And Matthew just said to me, nah, you're not Spuggy. And I just thought, oh, that's it. It's like, that's it. It's gone. And he went, I think you're more of a Nicola. And I was thinking, oh, he's probably just saying this to sort of like, just like let me down gently. He went, I'm going to give you some different sides. Go outside. I'll give you 15 minutes. Try and learn them. Come back in and we'll read for Nicola. I was like, right, okay. I mean, this was the days before chaperones, by the way. So this is the days where I've never auditioned for television before, and I'm just sat there like in this hallway going, right, I better learn these then. So they call me back in and I read for Nicola. And then, as you probably will have heard from the other guys, I got then a recall, and the recall was that we all had to like come together for one day, one Saturday at the BBC. And it was like fun and games and a bit of sort of like entertaining each other. And I think they just wanted to work out chemistry. I think that's what they were doing. They were kind of had their eyes on certain people and they were like, will she go with her? Will he go with him? They were kind of like putting us together in their minds, little did we know.
Wow, that's amazing. Do you think, so did you go to a drama club before you got the part?
So I was doing like the New Time Theatre Drama Club, which is the theatre in Newcastle. Right. I had been doing productions at Northern Stage, which is now called. So I was like, I absolutely wanted to be an actress. I know a lot of people in the first series got plucked from school and they'd never acted before. And I was a bit like, I was keen. Let's just put it that way. I really wanted to act, and it was what I wanted to do. So yes, I'd had experience in that way, but I hadn't had an experience in front of the camera. And honestly, I didn't even think I would get experience in front of the camera because there was just nothing like that going on. So it just seemed like a faraway dream. Yeah. So when it happened, and then I eventually got the call that day, and Matthew was like, well, we've called everyone and we've done all our no's. And now we're on to our yeses. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And he's like, we'd like you to play Nicola Dobson in Byker Grove. And I was like, so excited. I would have screamed when I put the phone down, because I still am like I'm chatty, but there's a huge part of me that's quite shy and very kind of like, I appear to be more pulled together than I am a lot of the time. So probably when I was on the phone to Matthew, I would have been going, oh, that's lovely, thank you. Oh yeah, I'll really like to do that. That would really make my dreams come true. And then I probably put the phone down and went.
That's so funny you say that, because I did exactly the same thing. Yeah, Helen Gregory.
Great, yeah.
Helen, who was the producer at the time, she went, do you understand what I'm saying? I'm telling you, you've got the part. I was like, inside, I'm like screaming.
That is exactly it. Yeah, like properly holding it together as if like, that's what people who like are real actors do. They're just like really cool about it. But inside, I'm dying. Yeah.
So you did go from being a regular kid to being in the public eye overnight, really. How did you find that?
I found it a little bit difficult. I loved doing it. There was nothing that was going to stop me from doing more of it. But I struggled with the sort of negative attention that it brought, because I would love to tell you that people were coming up to me on the street and going, hey, you're in Byker Grove, we love it. It's so cool. But honestly, like at that time, and maybe the school I went to or whatever, but at that time it was more like, who the fuck do you think you are on the fucking telly? Like, I've watched it, it's shit. It was that kind of stuff. So it was kind of quite demeaning. You know, when I'd be on the school bus, scholars, they would just shout things out or say that I've got something on my back, or there's the usual crap that you hear all the time when people are kind of being picked on a little bit. So there was two things running along inside me the whole time, which was, don't look at me, don't look at me. I don't want any unwanted attention. Please don't point anything out. I'm embarrassed enough already. And the other part of me was, no one's going to get in the way of what I'm doing. I'm going to continue with this dream and I'm going to make it happen. And it doesn't matter how bad you, like the names you call me, I will not stop doing. I actually remember crying to my mum one night. I think I'd been to a school disco or something. And, you know, the bus home, it's always the bus home. That was always the horrendous bit.
I can totally relate, yeah.
Yeah, and you're just sat there and you're thinking, just chat amongst yourselves, just don't. And obviously they decided that night, and I can't really remember what they said, but I do remember coming home and crying and on my bed, and my mum said, what's wrong? And I just said, it's just so embarrassing and it's so horrible, and the things they say to me. And my mum said to me, it was really good actually, she just said, you don't have to do the next series, you can leave if you want. And I just sort of thought, as if. So she presented the option, and the option was, if you don't like this, don't do it. And that was like, I knew inside, I was like, it's if I would give this away, this is the most fun I've ever had. I'm having the time of my life, and I have to put up with some of the stuff because of it. But that was when I was like, there's a payoff here, and that's okay. I'm prepared to have that.
It's worth putting up with all of that.
And it really was. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't change that experience for the world.
Let's talk about Nicola. What do you remember?
I remember thinking it was quite cool that Nicola had a family, because not a lot of the characters had families. So it was
family, and
it was nice to be able to do scenes at the Grove. And then I'd come home to the family, and I knew they had plans for the family to grow, and it did grow. And that was really, really lovely. I really enjoyed that, being with my other two sisters, Debbie and Gemma. I remember thinking, you know, because Nicola was best friends with Donna in it. And Donna was like way more of a wild child, you know. She was the one that was like up to no good and having fun. And I was always kind of the sort of the friend in the background who was a little bit more sensible. And I do remember thinking, why have I got to be the sensible one? Like, I want to be the one who's like a nutcase and just doing all the things she shouldn't be doing. But actually, I think what it gave me was they used to write a lot for me.
Mm-hmm.
They would give me some like big things to do and to deal with and some interesting things. So actually, I really like enjoyed the way like the journey like my character went on. And Matthew did something for me, which I still to this day, I would think about, because nobody else has ever done this. I went to drama school for 3 years and nobody talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
But he said to me, I think it was in the second series. I can't remember, but Nicola was going to have like quite a big storyline. It was going to go on quite an emotional journey. And he showed me how to break down episodes and do like an emotional kind of graph, if you like.
Okay.
It's like you'd look at your episodes and you'd write down every scene that you're in, and you'd write down like, where is she? What emotional point is Nicola at in each scene? And then you would look at that across the board of the series, and then you'd be able to pinpoint like where, the zenith is, and then where she might come back down. So as an actress in your head, you're pitching where things need to be for each scene. And I just thought that was so incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
And to this day, I would still absolutely do that. It's like, it's a real good marker for thinking about where you've got to go and where you're going to place something. And I think I really enjoyed things like that. I really loved it when the directors on the show spoke to me. I was like I was an actress and not a child. It really that was where I really buzzed, And I remember being in rehearsals a few times. I seem to remember this one rehearsal with Joe Caffrey. There was me, Joe, and Matthew, and we were doing a scene. I seem to remember it had a camera in it or something. I don't know why, but it wasn't quite working. And I said, I think I know why it isn't working. And so I think if we change that line, or I said something like, we put the lines the other way around, I think it'll work. And I remember, and Matthew said to me something like, yeah, that's a really good idea. Yeah, you really think, like a director or an editor. And things like that stuck with me, like, oh, you can have opinions. You can put your ideas forward. They might not always be taken, but all of that was like a real learning curve for me, so that without even knowing it, I was picking up, all the technical side of things. But I was also thinking, oh, you have a voice. I can put forward my ideas about my character. I can choose, where to pitch things. And that was all just so exciting to me. Like, I absolutely buzzed off it.
Yeah. So do you think that you learned things on Byker that you still use today?
Yes. Yes, because, drama school, even now, they don't do a huge amount of camera work. Even like your RADAs and your Guildhalls, they might do a couple of months on camera, if that. So a lot of the time when I'm like working today, if I'm working with very new young actors or just graduates, they'll have no clue about the technical side of cameras things. So it's really nice for me to be able to say, you don't need to go full out on that scene because the camera's not even on you, or just hold back until you're close up. Don't worry about it. We're really wide at the minute. So all of those things I was kind of learning, but you would have thought because we were so young and everybody was just so green, we would have had more of that.
Yeah.
But as you know, Andrew, that television is just we're all just getting on with it. You learn by watching and picking things up, and you have to be a sponge, and you have to listen, and you have to look at the people that you think are doing good work, and you have to think, well, what are they doing that I can do? Blah, blah, blah. Because no one is sitting you down and talking you through it, because everyone's so busy, right? And everyone's so focused about what they're making. But yeah, there's stuff, just technically, things like, your microphone, hitting your mark. Sometimes I do laugh when I'm watching old episodes and you can see people walking up. Hello. I love all that. And then knowing in my head, if I can have a little sausage, if somebody doesn't know what that is, it's like a little bean bag that looks like a sausage. So you don't really have to look down for your mark. You can kind of feel it with your toe as you hit it. Things like that. Things like, oh, I could ask for that if I want. I can ask for a sausage rather than just a mark. Or if I can't have that, then I'll know to do something else. It's all those little technical things, like I say, I just found them incredibly exciting. I don't know how other people were experiencing it, the technical side of things, but I just really loved it. It made me, if I thought I'd wanted to be an actress before Byker, by the time I'd finished Byker, I was set.
Yeah.
Like that was what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It had given me like a real taste for a career in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think only a handful of the cast actually went on to train after the show. Did you decide you were going to go to drama school during filming?
Yeah. So I remember in my last season, I was 17, maybe just turned 17. So I had to audition for drama schools when I was 17 to therefore go when I was 18.
Right.
And I remember, I can't remember the storyline, but I was with Debbie. I was with like real Nicola, and we were filming somewhere like, I want to say like Otterburn or something like that.
Kielder.
Was it Kielder? And I remember I had that morning. I had the letter saying you have been accepted into Webber Douglas, and I remember sitting in the minibus on the way to Kielder, thinking, oh, I'm going to go to drama school. Like, this is like, I'm so excited. So yeah, for me, it was always absolutely, that's what I wanted to do. I think there's so many ways to get into this business now. I don't think there's any right or wrong way. But at that time, in my mind, I was so set. In fact, I remember saying to Matthew, I really want to go to drama school. And he just got like a little piece of paper. It's probably a receipt or something. And he wrote down that he said, these are the top 7 drama schools in London. And he gave them to me. And he went, apply for all of them. And I just went, okay. And I mean, in those days, you know, you're writing off and you're asking for the prospectus. And then you're writing and you're saying, I'd like to audition. And then you have to I got like the mega bus down because I couldn't afford the train. And just sort of just doing it.
Yeah.
I think I was blessed when I was younger. And because of the way I was brought up, with an incredible naivety about the business that served me really well. Because had I have thought about the competition, had I have thought about how hard it is, had I have thought about how do you pay your mortgage in a business like this, I would have, you know, been much more scared. But in my mind, you know, I would say to my mum, all right, I want to audition for like drama school. And she's like, okay. It was not okay, have you thought about this? Because, you know, like sort of salary wise, is that going to be, it was just a very kind of blind acceptance and naivety of like, okay. And it just made me keep on going and just following the dream, if you like, rather than having some sort of sensible chat.
Yeah.
That actually, I think, can put people off their dream.
Yeah, I know what you mean. My parents were always quite quietly supportive. They just didn't really say much. They just let me get on and do it, which was lovely. Yeah.
I don't know whether that's like a working class thing, but it's like my mum and my dad, they didn't know anything about this business. So they also didn't know how hard it was. But it feels like parents these days, whether it's they're in the business or not, they're like, well, I've been on this website and I follow this person on Instagram and I know all about this and my child. It's like, oh my God, everybody's got their business and everything. And I think that there is something lovely about being left to your own devices in some way. Yeah. And yes, of course, I was like, I wish you'd told me about like financial stuff.
Yeah. I'd much rather have parents like that than pushy parents.
Me too. God, me too. Any day of the week. Because it really solidifies whether you want it or not.
Yeah.
And that's really important because there were some of the kids in Byker, I think, had a really good time, but they weren't bothered about continuing. They just had a really nice time and a really cool experience, but they were like, and now I'm off to sort of live the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I think that's really lovely as well.
It is, but it amazed me with some people because I'd be like, you're brilliant, but you don't want to keep doing it. It was strange, yeah. Yeah.
Well, you know what I thought when I was watching the first episode as well? And I think because this was like so pre people even having a camera with them of any sort, even just a disposable. Not many people had cameras. Obviously, you know, we did have video cameras and stuff, but there wasn't many people like taking them out and filming you. So when I watched the first episode, what I loved about it was we were all very unaware of like how we looked. You could see the way that I was holding myself and Sally was holding herself and Lindy Ann and Lucy, that it was very natural.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very kind of natural, like, we weren't thinking, oh God, am I, you know, like, oh, I haven't had my eyebrows done. Oh God, you know, will my double chin? Like, we weren't aware of those things, thank God. And I would love to go back to those days where you watched kids on television and they had that sort of real freedom about them, because I was watching it and I thought the same thing. I thought, God, these were just like naturally raw talent. It was just, people were really good at it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I say, I was like already like, I want to be an actress. But some people who had just been picked from school, like Craig, who played Winston.
Yeah.
I thought he was brilliant.
Do you know what? I've been watching it recently and I just thought he's so natural.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And there's a bit where he gets his like filofax sounds like, yeah, take me card. And I was just like, it's just brilliant. Yeah, like you say, like, and he was such a lovely guy as well, like just such a nice person. But I think you miss those days where people were just way, way more unaware of themselves and their faces and their bodies and things. It just made for like, it was just so interesting watching just people just be on camera.
No social media either.
Yeah. Oh, thank God, because I don't think I could have coped with that, with the whole like, how many followers you got, who's more popular. Yeah, just, I think that would have like messed with my head in a way that just didn't need to be messed with. I think it was as pure as an experience as it could be. I mean, the most like showbiz we got was like when Grange Hill like invited us down to London for a charity football match. It was like Byker Grove v Grange Hill. And I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. But that was about as showbiz as it got, because we were in the north. Nothing was happening. So any of the like fun things that the London kids got to do or got invited to or go, I don't know, the Palladium or something for whatever, we weren't really getting that. Everyone, when the camera stopped and the season ended, everybody was just living their normal lives. And then the season would start again. All right.
Yeah. Little bit taller.
It really was. It was so unshow busy.
Yeah. And then I always laughed when we'd come to London and see the kids from Grange Hill. They'd all have agents.
Yeah.
We'd just be like, married.
Yeah. I'm with Dave Holly. Those the rest of them.
How did the other students at drama school react to the fact that you'd been on TV already?
I probably shouldn't put words in people's mouths, but I got the feeling they were unimpressed.
Right.
a bit like it was a sort of almost like a negative mark against me as opposed to a positive. So I think rather than it being like, oh, she has TV experience, it was like, she's been on children's television. I mean, drama school can be quite snobby like that.
Yeah.
I think it would be different now. I think people are more savvy to like exposure and experience and what that can bring you. But I do remember like being at drama school, like in one class, and there was this teacher, and oh my God, she was such a pain in the arse, and she really was so involved in herself. Like honestly, she couldn't have been more interested in herself, like a true narcissist.
Mm.
And she was talking about equity cards. And I was like, right, okay. So you when you go into the profession, there's a thing called equity, and you will need your equity card to work, blah, blah, blah. And again, me, naive, I was like, oh, I've got my equity card. I mean, from that moment on, I think she just barely looked at me.
Oh, really?
Well, I think it was just this case of like, not who to ship it. It was like,
how do you know about that?
Yes, you're not allowed to know more. You're not allowed to be privy to that information and also to have one.
Mm.
Like what it was a very, yes, it was an interesting experience, the way that was all received. And I think underneath it all is always just jealousy or a bit of inferiority. I like, oh God, but who cares? See, I knew I was very, very, or at least I felt I knew when I was a kid, that as much as I'd loved Byker Grove, as much as it had given me so much experience, in my bones, I felt that was never going to be enough to give me a career. That I could not walk into an audition for, I don't know, whatever was on the telly at the time and go, well, I did Byker Grove. They'd be like, and?
Yeah.
But it wasn't, no one's bothered about things like that. They're not, you'd have to be in something truly spectacular or something that, was, held up on such a pedestal for that to make a difference. When you're young and you're auditioning, it's just like, what have you got? What you're taking into the room? They're judging you there and then. They're not bothered about the fact that you were in a children's TV program.
I think I made that mistake of thinking that was going to be easy, because you audition for your first job and you get it, so you think it's going to be easy and plain sailing after that.
Right.
But then you realise that it's not going to be.
Well, and the thing is, like, of course, like, I don't even know how I had that thought, because no one had told me that. I don't know why I wasn't thinking like you. Just for something innate in me was like, I know this is not going to be impressive to people that I want to, get jobs from. But why wouldn't you think like that? Like you say, you audition, you get it first time, it seems easy, you're really good, everyone's saying you're brilliant, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, bam.
Really?
And suddenly, like, the industry hits you over the head and you're like, whoa, okay, this is slightly different. But yeah, it's a really, I would never, ever, ever take that experience away from me. But it is funny how you can have certain experiences when you're younger and the industry will not make it harder for you, but will almost poo-poo that experience. Be like, and?
Yeah.
Okay, is that what you are then? And you're like, whoa, okay, I didn't know I was going to have to do this.
As someone who works a lot, you must have a nightmare audition story, have you?
God, probably so. Do you mean like where it's just gone like horribly wrong?
Yeah.
I don't think. Do you know what? I must have. Like, I remember, this is not really a nightmare, but I've had like so many cringy moments. Like, I've always said that anyone who can withstand walking into a room with a desk of 3 or 4 strangers staring at them, be asked to read 2 sides of dialogue, one of which like incorporates them like crying and breaking down, and then have those 4 adults go, thank you, and you have to pick up your bag and your coat in complete silence, and you have to walk out of the room with tears streaming down your face because you've just had a breakdown, knowing that you're not going to get the job because of the way they've looked at you. I've always said, anyone who can do that, like, hats off, because that is like that's like more the reality of an audition. Auditions, I think, are quite humiliating. You're asked to really open up and be very, very vulnerable in front of complete strangers for a very short amount of time. And then whatever you do, in my experience, even when I've got the part, they still just go at the end, thank you. You never give anything away.
Yeah.
So you kind of walk out going,
Do you prefer the new trend of doing self-tapes for the first audition, or do you prefer to be in the room?
I prefer to be in the room, but it might just be because I'm old.
Right.
That's just God, right, Andrew, this is, so when I first started auditioning, how everyone says now, like, you've got to have at least 48 hours to prepare.
Yeah.
When I first started auditioning, do you know that they used to hand you the script in the audition?
I've had that before, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that was like, so there you go. It's like, okay, you're just being, and you would be given the script and it goes, so Hazel is, she's very shy. She's very sort of meek. She's been bullied at school. And basically in this scene, she's trying to explain to her mum what's happening. Okay, go.
Yeah.
And that would be your experience. And, you know, in some ways, and this is only because I'm a really good sight reader, I quite like that. Because I had an advantage because I sight read really well, really quickly. And that's not fair because a lot of people who are absolutely fantastic actors don't sight read really well, and they should be given a fair chance. So that was never right to do that, because then just whoever could read it more fluidly was kind of getting the jobs.
Yeah.
So I think it's more fair now that people are given more time to prepare. But I think I just miss, as I've got older as well, like, like somebody sort of said to me once as well, like, remember that you're trying to work out if you want the job. So, when I go into an audition room, do I like the director? What ideas have they got? Where are they going with it? Like, do you think they'd be fun to work with, or do you think you'd get on with them? Or what kind of direction do they give you? So all of those things are important to me as well. So with self-tapes, that's just out the window. You're just, to me, just like a non-entity, just floating around like a little box on someone's computer. But, I understand that they also give people who don't live in London a good advantage to at least get seen. So it's all swings and roundabouts, isn't it? Yeah. But I can tell you like self-tapes.
Yeah. I love the self-tape, yeah. I don't know, I would hate to see some of my first auditions because I just get so nervous. I really do. So when I send in a self-tape, I know exactly what I'm sending in. And I have had more callbacks from self-tapes. Yeah.
It's brilliant, isn't it? I honestly think that they do really, really work for people. And you know what? They're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. So for the people that really hate them, I used to hate them, and now I have a lot more acceptance around them. And I sort of try and think more like you think now, where I go, okay, well, I could like really create something. I could really build on something. If I don't like the take, I can do it again. It's just, I find it quite hard looking at myself over and over again and then choosing the take that you think is right, because I'm not even an actor who watches, if I'm on a set, I'm not running to the monitor after each take looking at what I did. I never do that. Whereas, some actors do. So I don't really like judge myself like that. I judge myself more on how something felt.
Will you watch yourself back when it's on TV or not?
It's less so nowadays.
Okay.
At one time in Byker Grove days, I was glued to every episode. Like, oh, when we did this. But now I'll if I'm sent, the tapes beforehand before it goes out, I might kind of watch them just on my phone or something and just see a few things that we did, just check that it kind of was edited the way that I kind of hoped it was going to be. But I'm not in control of any of that. So even if I don't like it, see, this is the thing. This is what I kind of got to. I can't remember, somewhere in my 30s, maybe. It's out of my control. The way I'm edited is completely out of my control. So sometimes I would be in things and I would be really looking forward to watching something, and I think, oh, that really didn't work out how I thought it might. And then I think I just stopped enjoying watching myself and just thought, you know what, once it's done, it's for someone else to consume anyway. It's not my job anymore. Yeah. And also, as you get older, it gets worse watching yourself.
Going back to Byker.
Yeah.
You, Nicola and Donna did have a fantastic relationship. It was a bit of a love-hate relationship, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Nicola, I think, was the sort of girl you'd be mates with, whereas Donna was a bit of a nightmare, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Who were your mates on set?
Well, Sally was my mate, who played Donna. Oh, yeah, we were thick as thieves, yeah. Yeah, we got on really well. Do you know what? She was, this sounds sort of like so bizarre to say, but when I got Byker Grove, like I said, I was a bit shy anyway. I didn't really know how to chit-chat. So I wasn't like the kid that would just walk up to the security guard or the caterers and be like, you all right? How's your day? What you been up to? Oh, what will happen today? That sounds nice. Oh, have you seen that? Right? I was still a bit of a kid, like a sort of like, oh, they're adults and they're authority. And, I'll always be pleasant. Hello, good morning, whatever. And Sally kind of really I mean, she doesn't know this, but I watched her kind of interact with other adults, and I watched her kind of chit chat and her kind of banter. And I was like, oh, that's how you kind of talk to strangers. Because when you're on set, as you know, you're just introduced to so many people every day who you don't know, who are getting very up close and personal with you, putting microphones on and doing all sorts. That it's just nice to know how to have those kind of everyday chats. So Sally kind of, without knowing, kind of taught me how to do that. And I just sort of thought, I'll just copy her.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, all right. Like she does that.
It made me feel very grown up, being able to mix with adults.
Yes.
Like when else would you get that chance to do that? And
honestly, I always say that it made me feel really grown up. It taught me how to speak to adults. It introduced me to like socializing over meals and things. I mean, pre-Byker Grove, my mum was not taking us out as a family for an Italian on a Friday.
Right.
We were a working class family on a council estate. You were given your tea and that was it, you know. I was not being taken out. I remember like Dee, our chaperone, we all went out for like an Italian. It might probably in the first series because there wasn't that many of us. And I remember like ordering like corn on the cob for a starter and thinking, get me. corn on the cob. Sophisticated. But literally like all of those things, I was like, oh, you do this, you go out, you have meals, you chat. It isn't just like bar culture. It isn't just getting pissed. It's like you go out, you talk, people tell stories. You know, Dee would always like, would play little games sometimes. And it was just like, it taught me just how to socialize. Yeah. I think it honestly like was much more than just an acting job. It honestly, like when people say with kids like, oh, they've come out of their shell or they've really flowered, that's how I felt from Byker. It actually totally like helped me become who I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nicola and Paul had the first Byker Grove wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Fun fact for you, me mum did your bouquet. Did you? Bet you didn't know that.
Brilliant fact. That is so niche and cool.
Bizarre.
That's brilliant. Oh my God.
Yeah, she was a florist.
I mean, imagine that. Like, I was so young.
Yeah, I know.
What was I, 16 or something, and we're getting married? I mean, it's so weird.
And then we last saw Nicola and Paul living in Kielder. What do you think Nicola's doing now, and do you think they're still together?
You know what? What do I really think? God, this is my cynical view of the world. I'm like, nah, they're divorced. I'm like, the divorcee was useless. He kept banging on about like environment and that, and I was like, shut up. I honestly don't know. I mean, it would be nice to think they would.
Yeah.
And had little kids and stuff, but I really, really don't know. I haven't actually given that much thought.
Surprises me. Would you be up for a little cameo in the Byker reboot?
I mean, it might be fun, like, but it would just, you know, the thing is, I don't know what their plans are for that reboot, and obviously, it would be what I think would be lovely is just a whole new, fresh kind of. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is where we are now.
Yeah, I'm so interested to see what they do with it.
Yeah, so I've got no idea if they're gonna like know go back or they're gonna sort of go forward. I don't know, but I just have like a lot of love for the show, and I'm just it's like I said, I can't tell you like how big it was in my like I said, like it was literally like I could not believe that something was being made in Newcastle about kids in Newcastle, and then to actually be in it. I mean, the first cast were quite small. I don't know how many there were of us. You might know this fact. I don't know.
12 or something.
It was very small. Yeah. So to be one of the 12 that got into that, the odds of that are very, very low. And I don't think I ever thought or I ever forgot how lucky I was to be one of those. I felt incredibly lucky.
Yeah.
And it was just, yeah, so whatever they do with it, I just hope that they like sort of just give it what it deserves. Because the thing that I thought was really cool about it when it first started was that it felt quite raw and it felt fresh and it wasn't afraid to talk about things that kids were talking about. Now, I will give you the fact that the dialogue.
Hey, some of it is hilarious. It really
we could have done with a few younger writers on it. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it's unintentionally funny.
I was like, what the hell am I saying? Like I was talking like a 40-year-old woman in it. So yeah, but what they were trying to do and the issues they were trying to look at and the way they approach things, I was like, yes, like I ate all of those like shows up like Jossie's Giants and Press Scan. I was so there for it when I was a kid. I absolutely loved those dramas. So I know that when people talk to me about Byker, that's how they felt about us as well.
Yeah.
So it's so lovely to be part of the team.
I noticed like the grit started to go when in the noughties, the early noughties, when I was.
Did it?
So yeah, it was just starting to lose it, and then by the end, it was just a whole other show.
Yeah, by the end, there were, I don't know what happened, but like you say, it turned into like Funhouse or something. Yeah. It's like, what are you doing? Like, you've got some great kids here and who can act, like, use them. But, you know, I suppose it's just over time, they thought they were giving people what they wanted. But I did like those kind of early days where, you just like, what, like, even that first episode, they were just like kicking around the Metro Centre and that, weren't they?
Yeah.
What are you doing
watching it. I love watching it for that, to look at the Metro Centre and that back in the day. It's brilliant, isn't it?
So good. It's so good. And like you say, like watching kind of Lucy in that first shot. And then I forgot about the jacket. I forgot that Donna was like, hey, I love that jacket. And then she's got it on. The Grove and stuff like that was just really making me laugh. And God, I remember like going into costume and things like that, and me and Sally being like, oh, I can't believe they're making us wear this. Gutted.
Years after you left the show, your niece Chelsea joined the show in 2003. Yes. Did you give her any words of advice?
Do you know what's really strange, right? So do you know what year Chelsea joined?
2003, I believe.
2003? That seems miles away, doesn't it? I can't even remember.
I think it was because she started as I was leaving. Yeah.
I can't remember her telling me she got it. So I can't remember like that phone call, because there would have been a phone call, because I would have been in London at the time. But what I do remember growing up, which is so cute, is that like basically my mum had taped like every episode of Byker Grove, like of the seasons I was in. And I don't know what happened after that, whether she continued, but when I would go home, like from drama school, and Chelsea would be my mum's house, she would watch the reruns of the old Byker Grove over and over and over again. So to say she was like up on it,
right,
and like she would have known everything about every character. So I just remember when she got it, thinking, how lush is that? Mm-hmm. She's absolutely like absorbed and consumed it. Yeah. And then, got it. It was so lovely. And I think she had a great time as well, but she might have been in the wilder, weirder times of Byker, where it was about aliens and stuff like that. Yeah.
She was teeny tiny when she started. She was so cheeky and quite confident as well, actually. I was like, who's this?
She did put a clip on her Instagram the other day, and it was something like, I think one of her first lines was like, I've got to drink water to be a hydrated athlete. But she obviously didn't know what the word hydrated meant. And she said, I've got to drink water to be a hydrated athlete. And no one corrected her.
No one corrected her.
Nobody just let her say it. I remember in my audition, when I was like, when I told you I got those their sides for Nicola, it said, one of my lines, I was supposed to be in Donna's bedroom, and it's, I like the more swinish types. Jason Donovan.
Oh.
Jason Donovan-ish, Tom Cruise-ish, or something like that. I mean, first of all, no teenager in the world uses the word swinish.
No.
Ever. Still, like, never did, never will.
Yeah.
But I never heard of that word. Like, I honestly didn't. And so in the audition, I was like, I like the more swinish types. Tom Cruise-ish. And I remember Matthew going, it's swinish, actually. And I was like, all right, okay. But it's just so, like, I think when I think back about things like that, it must be so fun when you're working on a kids show, because we're all just so, like, I mean, like, I know we're not all, like, really confident or anything, but it's just amazing how much kids will do things without questioning it or without asking, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Just be like, I'll just do it.
Yeah. What was your next TV job after Byker?
So that would be my first job out of drama school.
Yeah.
It was something like, the first TV I did out of drama school was something like Heartbeat or something like that.
Yeah.
It would have been Heartbeat, or what was the other one I did? Some vet program. I can't remember the name of it now.
Oh,
but, you know,
Peak Practice.
Yes, Peak Practice.
Right.
Yes. So one of those ones. It was something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't remember, like, the first time I was on camera again after being in Byker. Because obviously I had 3 years of drama school, and then I went straight into a play, and then I was with that play for about a year. So you'd think I would remember, like, walking back onto a set, but I guess things just meld into each other after a while, don't they?
Yeah. Is there anything that you haven't done yet, or a kind of role that you would like to do?
Yeah, there's loads. I think, like, this is not a complaint, or maybe it is a complaint. I don't know. I just, I never want people to think that I'm not grateful, because I know that I'm incredibly lucky, and I'm very grateful for the opportunities I've been given. But, and I'm sure you know this as well, but you do get pigeonholed, and people do think, oh, well, you're from this type of place and you had this type of upbringing, so therefore you play these type of characters. And I think for me, one of the reasons I wanted to go to drama school was because I was like, well, I want to play a queen.
Yeah.
I want to play a Russian princess. When I was young, I wanted to do all of these roles in different accents and different classes and from all over the world. And again, naively thought that I would go up for all these things, but people get to know you, which is lovely. And then you get a profile, which is really nice. But then with that comes the idea that people know who you are. Well, she does that. So I think moving forward, and for the next however many years of my career, I honestly just want to sort of spread my wings a bit. I just want to kind of try things that are really different, that really scare me, that people might not expect me to do. Because that was, when I was a kid, like, that was the whole point. The whole point of being an actor was to be all of these different types of people. That was my dream. My dream was to be all of these different types. And the more you go on in this industry, and because there's so many of us, you realize that, the road gets slightly narrow. So I'm just at the minute trying to sort of, like, kind of just widen it back out again and say, look, I might not be your first choice, or you might not think I'll be the best choice for this, but I would really like to give it a go. I'm just going to try and be braver with that.
Yeah. I want to see you in Bridgerton now.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to be in Bridgerton. That would be so much fun. Yeah.
Has there been a job that you've done that you just thought it's been the most rewarding, or you've thought, wow, this is the game changer?
So, yeah. So how old was I? I was in my 40s, and I remember having a conversation with my agent and saying, I've done some stuff that I'm proud of, and I'm happy with where things have gone, and things that happened in my personal life that were really upsetting, and it had really knocked me. And I just remember saying to her, I've been around for long enough now. Like, I want I want more. I want more responsibility. I want to have more to do. Because what you can find, I think, happen a little bit is people go, oh, she's good. We'll get her in to do an episode of, or we'll get her in to do like 5 scenes. And there'll be nice 5 scenes, but after a while, you're like, I could do this standing on my head. And that's lovely, but I want to be challenged. So I remember saying, like, I just really want someone to like just take a chance on me and just give me something big, give me something more than just something that I can do with my eyes closed. And then I got a job, which actually not many people have seen, but it's a job called Dark Money, and it was on the BBC. And it was a really great story about a family whose son had got a big job in a Hollywood movie and very tragically ended up being abused by the producer.
Yes.
Yeah, and when the boy came home, he said to his mum, this is what happened. And his mum and dad then went to the lawyers and said, right, we're going to sue. This is what happened. This is terrible. And instead of suing them, they took a payment. I think it was a £3 million payment. And they thought, we can give our son a better life and blah, blah, blah. And then obviously the drama is, how the hell do you live with that decision? Yeah. So it was like a North London accent. It was like the lead role that I shared with Babu Cisse, who played my husband. And it was directed by Lewis Arnold, who is now, you know, like, like BAFTA award-winning director, who is so lovely. And that probably was a little bit of a turning point for me, where, remember when I said to you, like, when I was having conversations at Byker, where people would kind of speak to me and ask for my opinions and things, this was like the most creative experience I'd had for a long time. Like, we'd sit in rooms and we'd discuss the characters, and then Lewis would ask for our opinions on set, and then me and Babu would have conversations, and it just felt so much like what I imagined, like, acting to be. It felt so creative, from choosing the costume to choosing the makeup to choosing how you were going to do things, to just having people put their trust in you to lead a show with Babu, and it just felt fantastic. And it, because of the personal stuff that had happened as well, it kind of brought me back to life a bit. And I sort of woke up a bit and thought, right, okay, going forward, it's not about having big roles. That's not what I'm saying. It's about having things that challenge you or excite you, or like just, and then from that moment, I think that's really helped with the stuff that's come afterwards, which is kind of just more responsibility and more opportunity. And so I have Lewis to thank for that. And
you worked with Lewis on The Long Shadow as well.
I did, yeah. And it was just, again, like, oh God, just such a great experience of like, just that, you know, like, you know, you'll understand this, but maybe people who are listening, like, who don't act, but sometimes you'll go on a set and you'll very much get the feeling that what you need to do is just finish the schedule for the day. And it's go, 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 bang, bang, bang. And you just got to be on it, and you have to look after yourself. And then sometimes you go on a set and you know that you've got time and we're going to make this work. And if it doesn't work, we're going to do it another way. And if we do it one way, we might put the camera somewhere else. And even though that's probably what we're going to use, we're just going to try a different angle, because that could be interesting. And that's kind of what Lewis's sets are like. Even though, of course, we still all have to stick to a schedule. It's not like we can do whatever we want and we've got all the money in the world. But it's just lovely when you arrive somewhere and you feel like what the soul sort of need for that day is to just make that scene as good as possible. And you just don't get that a lot, do you? Yeah. You know, in television as much anymore, because we're on such tight schedules. We're filming so much per day. It's a crazy amount that we have to get through usually. So,
but it helps when you're working with someone who's really passionate about it as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think when there are certain projects where even before they start, the director and the producer have set out their stall very quickly and said, this day cannot be rushed. This day we can probably push things a bit more, but on this day we want silence and we want everything. It's just like, it feels so nice because it feels like somebody's trying to get the best from you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and that's, I mean, as you know, it's just a lovely feeling, isn't it? When somebody's like, what else have you got?
Mm-hmm.
What else can you bring? Yeah.
What could we see you in next?
I think the next thing that's coming out for me is a show called Girl Taken, which is on Paramount and 5, which stars Alfie Allen.
Okay.
And is all about an English teacher who abducts one of my daughters and keeps her in a basement in a cottage in the middle of the forest. And the drama kind of starts as she's kind of escaping. It's from a book called Baby Doll.
Okay.
It's adapted from the book Baby Doll. It's a thriller. So that'll be the next thing.
Great. When's that out?
I think it's coming out on the 8th of January, but maybe not quote me on that. But it's definitely early January. And I was working with some really lovely people on that, and we filmed it out in the Basque Country in Spain, because believe it or not, that on camera, that sort of is quite a good likeness for the Lake District and for parts of England. So yeah, that's become like the new sort of Budapest, I think.
Right.
People are like, well, let's go over there.
Brilliant. This has been lovely, Jill. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been lovely.
My Dobson family lineup is complete.
Is it? Have you done everyone now? I love it. It's so funny.
We just went back to Byker.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you.